All right, welcome, kings and queens. Today we're back and we're talking Love and Marriage, season 9, episode 3. Ooh, ooh, brother, ooh. It was very. Oh, let me ask first before I even put my 2 cents out in the atmosphere. What are your thoughts regarding season 9, episode 3? I want real time thoughts. Give me a quick sentence in the chat. What are your thoughts about this episode? What are your thoughts? The reason why I ask you that is because this one was a cringe fest for me. It was so cringe worthy from start to finish. I didn't like it. And I can probably say this is probably one of the first times I can say with 1,000% of my heart, throw the entire episode away. Throw the entire episode away. I understand. The assignment of reality television. I get it. I love a good time on reality television. I love a good drama on reality television. But there's a difference between standing on drama and entertainment and then massaging and exploiting somebody's pain. I didn't like it. This is a true testament that I think OWN should begin to really consider shaking some things up by way of the production companies that they are using. I didn't like it. I feel like we were witnessing things we should not witness when it comes to Marquez, Trisha, and Ken. This is so cringe-worthy to me in more ways than one, because I believe there's so much more to this story. And at this point, if you're not going to give us the truth, then get off television. There's some stuff that's not being said. And I'm picking up on that as a grown ass woman. Now, let me pause. I feel like there's some shit that's not being said, Marquez, and either you're going to come with it or you're going to come all the way, or you just got to shut down and shut up. Because you're throwing out the hints and the clues, and I'm picking up on it. Now, are you afraid of Ken? What's really going on in that house? That's my question. What's going on in that home? And I think I'll talk about that a little bit later. I don't know how long I'm going to be on here with y'all. I didn't like the episode. I didn't like where production took it. It was very negative. And Carlos, I think that's what Monique Samuels meant when she said, with Kingdom Reign production, your projects are often unorganized and there's no context to why are we hurting someone. What's the why behind it? Outside of you getting a check, what's the why? How is it going to make sense? And what is the perfect handoff to reaching a solution and or a resolution? Because we know that dinner scene between Ken, Trisha, and Marquez was BS. Okay. Now, if we didn't see what's being playing out in real time on social media, you may have gotten us. I always say, what did I say when I did maybe a week ago, I did Carlos when he spazzed out on the fans and he's blaming us for the just demise of the show. Here's my thing. Carlos, when the show hit number 1, and it was number 1 for a number of years, you did not give the fans credit. You took 1,000% credit because of you. Now, here's the thing. You cannot blame the fans. As an executive producer, if your show is tanking, just like you took credit for the success, you've got to take credit. You've got to take credit for the demise and the decline of the show. It happens in reality television. Unfortunately, it happens. So how in the hell you going to take credit for the success and not thank the fans and then blame the fans for the downfall of the show? No, sir, that's not how it works. It's all on you, my friend. It's all on you. But we know that these people are not divorced. And that's what I mean. I'm not with where production is going with this, because they're not divorced yet. They did all that signing of the paper in front of us, but they still have not moved forward with the divorce. And I think, is that what Monique was talking about? And then if we back up a little bit, could that be what Dr. Heavenly was pointing to when she said, Carlos, I'm just not for this. Tearing up families. There was so much pain and hurt sitting at that table. And y'all, I'm not talking about who's to blame, who's not to blame, who was gone, who was home. The whole shit is messy. And Marquez made a really good point. And I'm not a fan of Marquez, Trish, or Ken, but he made a really good point. This ain't about y'all. This is about the kids. And that's what I'm saying, Carlos. You didn't let Ken he didn't named off these kids one by one on this show. They have friends. They have to go to school. And y'all keep slanging that little girl around. I don't like it. And I'll tell you what I mean by that. This episode was a very telling episode to me in so many ways. In the beginning of the dinner, when they opened up back to the girls' trip, listen. Ooh, child, Kingdom Reign. In the beginning of the dinner, Kimmy admitted that she does not do girl trips. She said she don't do girl trips. then just say that. Okay? Then just say that, opposed to making it seem like the trip would have been better. Like the trip would have been better off in last week's episode, because that's exactly what you did. You tried to sabotage the efforts of Melody Cherie by stating that the trip would have been better off had the men been there. Y'all get what I'm saying, people? Are y'all not listening? Let me put it out there again. You got to start listening to them and taking in how people can project onto you in order to satisfy the deficits in their own lives to fill in their insecurities. Because what Kimmy said last week is she was hell bent that the men should have been allowed because it's not fair. You know, I would have liked to have my man here too. It's not fair because Melody's out here flirting with this guy and this and this and that. So this should have been a couple's trip because the men often bring balance. When that's not the truth. That's not really what was going on, because a week later, what you said is, I've never done a girls trip in my entire life. Then just say that. You ain't got to step on somebody else in order to come up. You could say, this is different for me. I've never done a girls trip. I'm a little bit uncomfortable without my husband, but eventually I'll settle in. It takes me a little bit of time to thaw out, but I'll get there. But that's not what you did, like a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? What she did is she attacked first to cover up her insecurities because you've never been on a girls trip. Just say you don't have girlfriends. Just say you don't trust women like that. Just say you're a pick Misha. Just say you're male identified. We get it. We got it. We get it. We got it. Can't nobody attack that if that's your truth. But what people really had a problem with you with is why you here shitting on another woman that tried to put something together for the beauty of the women on the show. Hell, you know damn well Owen and Carlos King does not honor y'all by the way of what they pay you. So why would you tear down? Why would you tear down a free trip? That's what I'm saying. You know y'all don't make, you know what? Let me move on. Let me move on. Yeah, Kimmy, just say that. Okay. Um, she was just hell bent last week. And I think it wasn't fair because Melody really try to do something that OWN has never done before. I don't think they've had a girls trip before on Love and Marriage Huntsville, have they? Because I think Letitia said, no, we've never done this. Girl, just be grateful. Damn. I feel like Kimmy wants some kind of an award from the men because she don't deal with women and she says it loud. She says it loud. I'm male identified and I'm proud. Girl, don't nobody care. Even Maurice was sitting there like, okay. She really poured it on thick when she got home, okay? To emphasize that, oh no, it was in the green screen when he was saying, I just wanted you to go and let your hair down and have a good time. Because you remember, he didn't want you to have a party. Let me be quiet. He didn't want you to have a party after you beat cancer. So now that somebody else was footing the bill, he decided it would be good for you to go away and let your hair down, as opposed to him stepping up as a man to take you somewhere to let your hair down. But he let you go somewhere to let your hair down. And then you had a nerve to say in the green screen, I don't need that. You know what I mean? I didn't have to go to that girl's trip. Didn't stay home. Stay home. You can say it with your behavior, honey. Stay home. I can't stand somebody that's going to try to show up on somebody else's shit to tear it up. Stay home. Stay in your own lane. Okay? Um, they talked about Kimmy and Maurice really quick. They spoke on the ups and downs of women coming together. And Maurice said, because women are messy. And Kimmy's like, yeah, you know it. And it's just childish to me. Kimmy's in her 50s. I expect so much more of a deeper and a richer dialogue coming from her, coming from Miss Neal, or any other woman that's lived a little bit, any other woman that's got a little bit of experience in their back pocket. She has been so disappointing to me. She has been so disappointing. And if the truth be told, I've said it before. I don't really have an issue with Kimmy. I just think she's hit the wall when it comes to this show. I think we need to go ahead and pull the cord, production. Don't bring her back on for another season. Let her stay home with her man. Let them enjoy their life. They seem to be doing well. Let them stay over there because she's not really bringing anything for TV. She don't like the other women. She's not a girl's girl. So I'm not sure where you can plug her in on this show. What are your thoughts, y'all? What are your thoughts? And the fact that you said, "Yeah, women are messy. I'm not really with all this girl stuff." Why are you on the show? Because it's a predominantly female audience. Nothing but girls. Nothing but girls that are tuned in. Nothing but girls that are giving feedback. I'm not sure where she's trying to go with this argument, but let's get into the nitty-gritty of season 9, episode 3. Yes, for those of you who are just tuned in or if you're new to the channel, welcome to the palace. I am Queen Sheba. I cover a variety of hot topics specific to reality television, but most importantly, I hone in on the psychological and the behavioral traits of the Black experience.
Subscribe now.
I think I'm going to continue on at the dinner table, and I hope I don't stay on this too long, but I want to go a little bit deeper about that dinner table scene. At one point, while the other ladies are speaking about their thoughts on how the girls' trip went based on what they got from it, Destiny was making all kinds of faces, y'all, that clearly showed to me that she disagreed and she didn't feel the same way. Now, that's fine, right? If you disagree and don't feel the same way, but bitch, don't be disruptive. Why do we have to be so disruptive, Destiny? Now, here's a couple of things that I do agree with Destiny in her confessional. She does not have to say the same thing that everybody else is saying. I agree with that. As a grown woman, you know what? Can't nobody make me say nothing that I don't want to say. And that's fine and that's dandy. Okay? That's fine and that's dandy. However, Melody, in that moment, I think you should have paid her as dust. I think you should not have given not one iota to what she feels or what she was doing. If I were you, I would not have given her the opportunity to agree and or disagree because to me, she would have been a non-effing factor to me. She would not have been at that table. To be honest, I would have asked her to leave from the first day she walked in and changed the entire aura of the dinner. When she accused you of trying to coach a mistress on how to cheat, I would have said, you know what, Destiny? On GP, I try to do something nice and let you come in as a plus one, but I see you on some bullshit. Unfortunately, I don't believe this is the right trip for you because here's what I'm not going to do. I'm not going to entertain that on my trip. I think it's best if you leave. I would have asked her to leave. She would have never gotten that opportunity to be at that dinner table. I think you should have paid her dust, Melody. That's the first time I think you should have paid her dust on this trip. Okay. Destiny says, well, in her confessional, um, she says that, can we just sit? You know, basically she was referring to Melody asking her something. And in her confessional, she said, can I not just sit? Can we not just sit and take it all, take the moment all in and enjoy it? See, that's the problem. Destiny loves to play games. You were not enjoying the moment. You weren't enjoying the moment. And you wanted to make sure that you made everybody else uncomfortable because I really believe that you were feeling some kind of way about the positivity that they were trying to exude in that moment. Because what you said is, yeah, what you said is a lot of ass kissing going on in the room, and you weren't feeling that. So what you did is you put on your strongest and your meanest resting bitch face to show your disapproval. I don't know. Destiny is so disappointing. She always has been to me. Let's back it up. I want y'all to go back. The first season, not the first season on Love and Marriage Huntsville, but Destiny's first season on Love and Marriage Huntsville, she had a nasty ass attitude with her husband. If you back it up and go back and watch her attitude has always been off-putting, in my opinion. In my opinion. That don't make me right. It's just off-putting for my taste. You know what I mean? Do you not ever have anything good to say? Do you not? Why are you here? If it's that much drama, why are you here? But she treated LeBerick bad. She was nasty to Kimmy. Now, here's the thing. They all kissed her ass to bring her up to par and to bring her up to speed. But nothing's really changed with Destiny, to be honest with you. It's funny to me that in Destiny's confessional, she said that it was too much ass kissing going on at the table. But in the next breath, did you catch it? She turned around and she wanted to address Miss Nell and confront Miss Nell about Miss Nell asking Sonny about having children with Moses. Pause. About having children with Moses. which is her own husband. Make it make sense. Do y'all not hear and see the contradiction that comes out of this woman's mouth? It's too much ass kissing going on when people tell Melody that they enjoyed the trip. But then you turn around and you say, Miss Nell, I didn't appreciate the fact that you asked Moses' wife, his wife, if they were planning on having children. Is that not setting the stage for everybody to kiss your ass? Y'all, did they not start kissing her ass at that table when she expressed her disapproval yet again of the girls interacting cordially with each other? What you want them to do? Fight? Have a WWE SmackDown on your behalf? Because you decided to screw around with Moses for 15 years on and off while both he and you were married? What do you want them to do? Because you are a big girl and you made a big girl decision, but I'm going to try to leave that right there and go ahead and move on. But did she not set the stage for them to kiss her ass? Because that's exactly what happened in that moment. Then Destiny had the nerve to say, as a woman, Nell, you got to think how that's going to come across to another woman. You did not exude that same courtesy to Moses' other two wives. You did not give that courtesy to your ex-husband. When you know what, girl, shut up. Girl, be quiet. Here's the thing, and listen to me very closely. Destiny went on and on how she's been mistreated by Sonny, how she's been mistreated by Melody on this trip. Okay, how she was a good friend to Melody and then she attacked Melody. You know, in one breath you're claiming to be a good friend, and the other breath you're going to attack her with every ounce of whatever Martell sends you with. In one breath you're talking about Sonny, how she set you up and she wanted your man from the beginning, and then you turn around and you attack at the table. I feel like Destiny tried to make this entire girls' trip about her, which is why I think it's a horrible idea for her to have come. I would have asked her to leave. I know I said that before, but I cannot emphasize that enough. She would have had to get up out of there. She would have had to get up out of there. Watch this. Did anybody notice at the same time while you're complaining about Sonny possibly preparing to have children with your ex-boyfriend, who is her husband, Moses? Y'all, at that time, she was sleeping with Lance, who is Miss Nell's son. See, y'all gotta be in the moment. My mouth dropped. I'm like, girl, you were sitting here in front of your potential future mother-in-law, crying about what your mother-in-law should or should not have said while you're screwing her son. Do y'all actually think about this kind of stuff before we jump on anybody's team? To say the audacity of you, girl, you screwing her son, and now you finna check his mama, who could potentially be your mother-in-law, about what she should or should not say. God forbid, thank goodness you and Lance didn't make it, because you would be singing the same tune about Miss Nell. And I'm not saying she a fan fave. I'm not saying Miss Nell is a fan fave with me, but you would probably be singing the same tune about Miss Nell that you did about LeBeric's mom. Destiny, in my opinion, she's an emotional bully. I don't know. I just felt like you showed up as a devil on this girl's trip. I really believe that Destiny's primary goal and her mission was to sabotage the hell out of this trip. This is horrible. We're going to see her next week show up in a scene with Martell. And what are they talking about? Melody. I think the rest of my commentary is going to be primarily focused on Trish. Listen, girl, listen, have a seat, because I think you've forgotten what your assignment is. And if we could keep it a buck, in my opinion, I feel like Carlos brought you here for one reason and one reason only, girl. And that is to spill the tea regarding you and Martell Holt. Let's not get it twisted. You were not recruited. Carlos did not bring you on this show because he believes that you are a superstar. So, girl, stop playing with all of us. And if you're not going to give us the real tea regarding what went down between you and Martell, then you and Ken, y'all gotta go. Because there's no other reason for you to be on this show, and you really can't drag that out too long. I hope you won't plan on signing a contract and coming back talking about the same old, because you have been proven to be a liar, not only by your ex-husband, by production. Everybody says you lie. Stormy said you lie. Ken says you lie. You lie. What are you here for? I I hope you're not getting high off of your own supply, because Ray Charles can see that Carlos only recruited you to get back at Melody once he heard that you and Martell had a thing. That you and Martell had a thing. We are not interested in you drinking protein powders. We're not interested in you weighing your food, cooking your rice, eating your rice. We're not interested in your meal preps. We're not interested in you confronting your husband, who's not your ex. We came for the get down, and that is, when did you start seeing Martell? Because we know you did, and we know that you both were married during the time. Now, give us all of the intricate details regarding that relationship, because that is really and the only reason that you are here and that we stay tuned into your scenes. Other than that, girl, I don't know, like, what is it that they're gonna bring, Carlos? Because she's not gonna open up about the Martell thing. So I don't wanna see the bodybuilding piece, because bodybuilders can be quite boring. They go to the gym at the same time, they eat the same food over and over. They eat at the same time. Very, very, rigorous routine, and it's the same thing over and over and over. You know we ain't tuning in for that. We ain't tuning in for that. She ain't got no businesses. She ain't selling no t-shirts. I don't know what they do. We don't know nothing about them. Only that she allegedly slept with Martell, and now she's lying about it. And where do we go from here? What do you think Carlos can do with Latricia? Because ain't nobody, no, her name is Trish, yeah, with Trish, because ain't nobody interested in Ken. And it seems like Ken is attempting to bogart his way as a breakout star of the show. I don't know how far that's going to take you, sir. We're trying to bogart your way with the original '06, because it seemed, you know what? Anywho, what do y'all think Carlos can do with Trisha? To me, Trisha is the perfect example of using discernment. Ladies, women, when it comes to trying to be open to other women. No, ma'am. Because if I were Melody, she would have never been invited to the girls' trip. Number one, for the simple fact that I don't know you. I don't know you. Number two, I don't like your attitude. And number three, you're not a part of the group. So as I get to know you, maybe then and only then. But I would not have invited you out of the kindness of my heart, because women like that, they're rude anyway. It don't matter that you invited her. You see how she turned on you. You see how she was talking shit and tried to throw a low dig talking about Melody cheated in her marriage. Who told you that, Martell? I'm going to come to that. I'm going to come to that. There's something off about Ken, and I'm not sure if I want to get to the bottom of it. And I say that because why do you prefer to date married women with little girls, sir? I'm going to leave that right there. Didn't the other lady that he was with, didn't she have a child, a little girl that he's referring to as his daughter? Or is that his daughter? Because I thought y'all said he didn't have any kids. So I need clarification on that. Maybe I missed something. But is that not his ex's daughter that he still keeps in contact with? That he never married and he dated for 10 plus years? That's not your daughter. Okay, you know what? That could be a sensitive subject for some of y'all that have gotten into relationships with these men, and you allow them to come around your kids. So let me back up off of that, because not everybody protects their kids. Some people are very flexible and open with giving men access to their children. But is that little girl that he's referring to, is that his daughter biologically? Or is that the other woman's daughter that he used to date? Can y'all let me know in the chat? Now, here am I I don't know if I wanna get to the bottom of it. I really don't. I just don't understand why he prefers dating married women with girls. So uh, that's all Imma say. I know some women view this as an honor because he's still in contact with that little girl, right? "You wouldn't be with my daughter. Mm-mm. We broke up, we done. You're not having access to my child, to my daughter. You're not taking my daughter nowhere, playing with nobody." I don't know. I don't know. But things are different. Times have changed, but I don't know if I would allow a man to flex like that. That's my ex. Unless that's his biological daughter, which is why I'm asking. So let's move on. Okay. Let me see. Hold on, give me 1 second, y'all. There's been several times that Ken has made me feel uncomfortable on social media. Not on social media. I'm sorry. On social media. Yeah, that's right. And on the show, when he describes how he shows up and shows affection to these girls, right? I'd rather hear more about as a grown woman, me just tuned in as a grown woman. What I would rather hear more about is how you're showing affection to her mother and how you're setting an example for her as a younger child of what a healthy love is supposed to look like between a man and a woman, more so than you focused on my child. Does that make sense? Hell, I hear more about the daughter than I hear about what you're doing for Trish. And as a woman who's tuned in, I would like to hear more about how you are showing affection and how healthy you and Trish's relationship is compared to what she had with Marquez. That would make more sense for the kids to be able to see. I don't know. I could be wrong. What are y'all's thoughts? Because you've only been there. Now, we're going to go with the lie that you and Trish are telling. You've only been around for 2 years. So I don't need you. I don't, these are his words. I don't need you opening doors for my little girl and buying her flowers. Nigga, you just pulled up. And I'm not saying that it's not a positive. He just ain't been there long enough. That's all I'm saying, ladies. We're not married. I'm still married. I don't need you hands on deck with my daughter. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that it couldn't happen or it shouldn't happen, but if it were to happen, I'm going to make sure we straight. We've done everything the way we're supposed to do it. I'm not moving you in my house first when her daddy just moved out and you coming in, opening her doors, picking them up. I don't know. Some people, I don't know. The world is just changing so quick and so fast. And maybe I'm just old school and too Southern, but that's a lot of freedom and the access to give a man that's just been there 2 years. Because you said, that's why you don't lie, that y'all have only been knowing each other together for 2 years. I don't know. And it sounds like this is the same behavior that you've displayed in past relationships with other women that have daughters. So, really, if the truth be told, it ain't really nothing special about this little girl. It's just how you position yourself as a man in the lives of the women with children to make yourself look like a big muscular hero. Why is it important? Or why is it important to you that these little girls see you as heroes? I don't know. What am I missing, y'all? Y'all may have to educate me on something. I'll come back to it though. I'll come back. Um, let me jump around a little bit. Trisha gets home. I'm gonna jump around. I want to stay on Trish. Trisha gets home right after the girls' trip, and her and Ken have a scene. And then she goes in talking about that's what Melody did. What she's talking about and what she's referring to is that people, because Ken said people are separated all the time and they move on with their lives and they have outside relationships. And she goes, "Yeah, I don't know what they're talking about because that's what Melody did." How you know what Melody did? Melody don't know you. You don't know her. Is that what Martell told you? While he made you comfortable and poured you a few glasses of wine during that placebo training session? Is that what happened? Did Martell tell you that Melody cheated on him just to get you comfortable enough to let your guard down in order to sleep with you while both of y'all was married? Why you worried about what Melody did when you slept with her husband? She didn't sleep with yours. And when we started talking, she said Trish feels like she has the right to have an opinion on Sunny and Destiny's situation because it's the ultimate betrayal, according to her. Girl, the ultimate betrayal is you bringing your ass on this show when you've betrayed Melody because you slept with Martell while you were married to your husband and while you were dating your side nigga. Okay. That's the ultimate betrayal and sitting at a dinner table and looking at the ex-wife and lying about it. Carlos didn't bring you on this show because you knew Martell and had a glass of wine with him. Quit playing with us. Carlos likes the mess, girl. Carlos was expecting you to tear up some shit. Carlos was expecting you to drop a bomb and you didn't because you know why? Ken's going to have a very negative reaction if you tell the real truth. So you didn't got yourself caught up. You didn't got yourself caught up. You have no room to talk about anybody being betrayed. Cause you got a three's company going on. And if you tell the truth, Ken is going to have a fit. But eventually I think she's gonna get caught up in one of her lies. Okay, as it relates to Martell. Cause you can see in this scene, he became irritated when it was time to talk about Martell that he had to switch the topic because Ken, You know that lady's not being honest with you. I think you know that, and I think we all know that. Yeah, he shut that conversation down, y'all. He says because they're trying to make him look like something that he's not. Okay. What are you? What are you? You said we're trying to make you look like a side dude. Maybe there's a misunderstanding. Can you tell us what you are and what your role is on the show? And how come we've yet to see it outside of you talking about Marquez? Seriously, what is your role on this show? So then Ken, who really wants to be on the show, y'all got to think back to these interviews. He said Trisha didn't want to do the show, but she did it for him because he thought it would be a great opportunity. Ken wants to be a star, right? So what he did is what he said in this segment, this meeting, he said, you know what, I'm gonna have to check Martell. So he comes up with this bright idea that he's going to have to check Martell regarding Trisha because he feels like Martell should not have played into the notion that he slept with Trisha because he knows for how you know that? How you know for a fact that he didn't? I'm just asking. Are you going on Trisha's word? Is it because she said so? So you going to whoop some ass behind Trisha? So now you finna go whoop Martell behind Trisha, a clearly married woman. Make it make sense, y'all. Are y'all following this drama? Are y'all following this crap that Carlos King is putting in front of us? I feel like Ken is going to, or he's willing to pick a fight with whomever he needs to in order to get that camera time. I don't think it's a good look for a man, especially a man like you. You have a big presence on camera with muscles. I need you to calm down behind a woman. Act like you've had one before, okay? Because you acting like this your first time. And I feel like you're leading Trish down a path of destruction, talking about that you're here to protect her reputation. If you're here to protect her reputation, then tell us why she's not divorced yet. I don't think, let me tell y'all something. I'm going to keep it 1,000% real. Based on his history in relationships, I don't think Ken has any intention um, on marrying Trish. And I don't think Trish really wants you to marry her. I don't. I think you're a serial dater. I think you've been in relationships. I think you can do 10, 15, 16 years in relationships without being married with your eyes closed because that's just what you do. Trish, boo boo, he's not going to marry you. He's not going to marry you because hell, he talks about your daughter more than he talks about you.